You are truly the worst host I've ever had. Help. The system is hitting people. Other hosts have already finished 99 tasks by now, and you're still here misidentifying the male lead. I'm sorry, okay. I can't be blamed entirely, can I? I'm not only slightly nearsighted, I also have a severe case of face blindness. Unless someone has very distinctive features, I just can't remember them. At first, when the system heard my concerns, it was quite dismissive. It said, could the male lead possibly be an ordinary person? He is the most handsome one in the crowd. I guarantee you won't mistake him for someone else. The system told me to find the most handsome one. I spotted Ling Yun in the crowd at a glance. I immediately started my wooing strategy. Hey there, handsome, care for a date? Sure, let's go. So, I talked to him about poetry and literature, and the philosophy of life. Just as we were having a lively conversation, benefactor, the abbot requests your presence. Ling Yun was suddenly called away by a young novice monk. When he came back out, he had changed into black robes. I immediately complimented him. Wow, you look even better in black. It highlights your sharp brows and bright eyes, and you seem much more imposing than before. My thanks, miss. Let's go for a stroll in the back hills. There is a century-old peach tree on the mountain. It is truly beautiful. All right. Oh, am I seeing things? Is that Commander Ling? The heir to the Ling estate is of noble birth and has always been cold and indifferent to others. Who is that young lady? That is the heir to the first-rank marquis of the realm. His mother is Princess Pei Yan, the Empress Dowager's favorite. He is the current emperor's own first cousin. And now he commands the Imperial Guard, with power that dominates the court. I've also heard he is stern and disciplined, arrogant and detached. Ah. Talk about noble. Talk about aloof, peace. Now that I've stepped in, it is basically in the bag. Haha. So the two of us came to the peach tree, and I used my silver tongue to talk to him about poetry, songs, and the philosophy of life. After putting in a mountain of effort, I finally made him laugh. I was inwardly surprised. How in just a moment did his standards for humor get so high? Miss Shen, you are truly interesting. Just as he finished speaking, a white figure walked toward us. You were hard to find. What is going on? Why is there another Ling Yun? Wearing that same moon-white brocade robe. He hadn't changed at all. What on earth is happening? My face blindness must be acting up again. One of these two is definitely not Ling Yun. It should be the one in black, right? Just now, passers-by were whispering about us, talking about how illustrious Commander Ling's family is, and they didn't mention me chatting with the one in white. The little monk in the temple called him Your Excellency too. This is bad. What should I do? To tell the truth be told, ugly people in this world are ugly in all sorts of strange ways, each with their own quirks. But people who are extremely handsome all look more or less the same. Samey arched brows, samey sharp eyes and noses, with jawlines sharper than my life plans. Except one is a bit gentler, and the other's temperament is more cold and aloof. I can't tell them apart at all. Miss Shen, you were having such a good time talking just now. How about we go have a vegetarian meal at the temple later? So Miss Shen is fond of chatting and laughing with people. I can't tell who is who. Yes. Ha ha ha. Ha. Pei Yan pays his respects to Commander Lin. So, the guy in white is named Pei Yan. The supporting male lead the system warned me about? Then why am I wasting my time with him? No need. I'm busy. Young Master Ling, you just said the lotuses at East Lake are in full bloom. Let's go take a look together. I'm busy too. System, I've really messed up this time. What should I do? Oh man. Too noisy. I've never seen anyone as dim-witted as you. He definitely thinks right now that you're a fickle woman. So you need to redeem your image. I obediently nodded like a woodpecker. After getting home, I immediately drew up a detailed plan. I studied everything thoroughly, and even tried my hand at making modern egg tarts. Knowing his servants often come by here, I ran over to accidentally bump into him. I didn't know Miss Shen was so clever and crafty. This pastry actually tastes quite good. I was just feeling self-satisfied. Weren't you supposed to pursue the male lead? Why are you messing around with the second male lead again? He is not Ling Yun, but he was wearing black today. Who says only Ling Yun can wear black? I really can't deal with you anymore. Young Master Pei, you can't eat this pastry. I just remembered I didn't wash my hands when I made it. Yes, I'm just that gross. I've disappointed you. I completely understand if you're angry. Goodbye then. Didn't wash her hands. Playing hard to get? Heh, interesting. So, over the next 3 years, I racked my brains trying to get close to Ling Yun, but as commander of the Imperial Guard, Ling Yun was so busy he barely seemed real. So, most of the time, the ones appearing before me were Pei Yan, who kept sending the wrong gifts, sent the wrong sachet, sent the wrong umbrella. What, you're going to take someone else as your wife? What am I supposed to do? I'll take you as a concubine, of course. Although my family still holds a title, we've been in decline these past few years. Li Jian's father is the Minister of Personnel. You should know how beneficial marrying her would be. Shen Qinghuan, didn't you say you loved me? That you were willing to do anything for me? Don't worry. Even after I marry her, I won't let you suffer. What after is there for me? He is marrying someone else. Does that mean my conquest mission has completely failed? System, am I about to die? Die, you big idiot. Open your pig eyes and look properly. Is that the male lead Ling Yun? You face-blind fool. You nearsighted idiot. You've mistaken him for someone else again. Isn't it him? It's like you brought a math book to a language arts class, or a history book to a math class. How on earth are Pei Yan and Ling Yun similar at all? What the hell does it matter to you who Pei Yan marries? You dunce, turn your head and look. The real Ling Yun over there is being run ragged because of you. Average failed. Soft facial features. Soft features are soft and low. Left, right, right. I finally confirmed that the person in the pavilion is Pei Yan, not Ling Yun. Damn it, I really did mistake him again. If you keep spacing out like that, they're going to be long gone. Please, let me explain. Explain what? Young Master Pei, I will not be a concubine. Since you are going to marry someone else, let's make a clean break. Let's go our separate ways. Farewell to you. Here you go again, Shen Qinghuan. You've said the same thing so many times already. Every time you say, fine, we shall be strangers from now on. Yet the next time we meet, don't I just come running back to you? My wedding day is in 2 months. I don't have time for your nonsense. Also, go to the Li estate tomorrow and help Xian with her wedding dress. You have a talent for embroidery. She has mentioned it to me many times. Let go of me. Before you are officially married into the family, leave a good impression on her. It will be good for you too. Shen Qinghuan, I'm only doing this for your own good. Where did they go? Where did they go? Right. The Duke's mansion. But when I arrived at the gates of the Duke's mansion, I tried to go explain several times, but I couldn't even get through the front door. Yo, another one. Forget about you. Even the Prime Minister's daughter gets turned away when she wants to invite him for tea or a boat ride. You, the daughter of an 8th rank official, wouldn't even make the list in 10 years. Since I couldn't find him at home, I had to intercept him on the road. This is the route he always takes to court. Because of this, the system scolded me often. You don't recognize the person. Do you at least recognize the horse? That is a Fergana horse gifted by the Emperor. I don't know how many times better it is than Pei Yan's stallion. To be honest, Aside from the color, don't they all look the same? 2 eyes and a nose. What's the difference? Black today, white tomorrow. Because of these horses, I've made so many mistakes. Forget it, but this black one must be him. He, heir apparent. Ling Yun and Pei Yan are both heirs, but Ling Yun is an heir to a first-rank title, a high-level player. Pei Yan's family is a low-ranking Viscount family. It can only be inherited for 3 generations. He is the last one. Before, I would just call them by their full names. I caused many awkward misunderstandings. I offended Pei Yan by calling him Heir Ling. Heir Ling. Miss Shen, what is the meaning of this? Do you think that I, as an heir, am so different from General Ling that you have to humiliate me on purpose? I'm sorry. I was wrong. After that incident, later on, I accidentally ran into Ling Yun. Ling Yun blocked my path, but I thought he was Pei Yan. I said coldly, "Excuse me, Heir Pei. I brought you iced drinks at the training ground yesterday, and today you don't even recognize me. Shen Qinghuan, do you think I'm a toy?" Ji Qing, she is just joking with you. Young Master Heir Ling, why did you change your horse again today? Later, I learned my lesson. Whenever I saw them, I just randomly shout "Heir" first, and then try to distinguish them carefully. Looking at their faces didn't really help. But as long as I saw the sword at his waist. Heir Ling. Is something the matter, Miss Shen? Save me, heir. Just as I was about to spout nonsense. Sister Shen, where are you going so early in the morning? Why aren't you even taking a carriage? It is going to rain today. Where are you headed? Let me give you a ride. Get in. Jian, you're being playful again. Men and women should not touch. It is not convenient for Miss Shen. Get in our carriage instead. What is the big deal? We'll all be family soon anyway. I didn't bring any maids with me today. It would be perfect to have Sister Shen come up and wait on us. Come on up, Sister Shen. Is Li Jian trying to treat me like a servant? All right, whatever you say. The mandarin ducks embroidered on this are truly exquisite. You certainly have an eye for these things. It's a perfect opportunity for you to tell her what patterns should be embroidered on the wedding dress, so that someone can get an early start on the preparations and save us an extra trip. True, you always think of everything. Sister Shen, why haven't you come up yet? What are you standing there for? I just watched them both perform in silence, seeing that I remained unmoved. Hurry up, or are you waiting for me to invite you again? Shen Qinghuan, come here at once. A concubine ought to act like one. If you offend your mistresses before even crossing the threshold, how do you expect to survive? The two of them played along until the sun was fully up. Just then, Ling Yun suddenly asked me, Shen Qinghuan, do you truly wish to be his concubine? I don't. I never said that. He's just spouting nonsense. Are you out of your mind? Marriage is a matter to be decided by the orders of one's parents and the words of a matchmaker. We aren't even close. How dare you insult my reputation for no reason? Shen Qinghuan, stop throwing these little tantrums. Some things, once said, are hard to take back. Jian is here too. Try to be a little more sensible. Pei Yan winked at me. It meant that while he usually tolerates my headstrong behavior, he couldn't protect me in front of Li Jian. He was telling me to learn to yield. Li Jian seemed to notice his subtle gesture. Since Sister Shen does not wish to serve me, perhaps I lack the fortune for it. In my opinion, the matter of taking a concubine might as well be forgotten. She is just of that temperament. In less than half a day, her anger will have faded. Pei Yan said this because in the past when we were together, I would often get angry too. He thought I just had a bad temper. In truth, it was because I realized he wasn't Ling Yun. I could only make up some random excuse, pretend to lose my temper, and take the opportunity to slip away. The next day, when I saw him, I'd think he was Ling Yun again, and go back to trying to win him over. That is why Pei Yan always believed that my anger came and went quickly, that I could soothe myself, and that I was very magnanimous. No matter how egregious his behavior, all it would take was one day, and we would be back to normal. As we were speaking, another carriage caught up from behind. It was the Ling family guards. Seeing the darkening sky, they were specifically sent to escort Ling Yun to the palace. Shen Qinghuan, stop acting up and get in. If you get caught in this rain, you'll likely catch a chill. Why would Pei Yan say that? Because in ancient times, a chill wasn't just a common cold, it was serious. It could be life-threatening. Pei Yan had once suffered a severe fever. I stayed by his side night and day, caring for him at the villa for several days, until the system woke up and scolded me severely. What on earth are you doing, guarding this pathetic excuse of a man? Are you trying to kill me? I don't want to be your guide anymore. Help! Someone come and replace this host. I had made a mistake again. Wasn't this the Ling family villa? How could he be Pei Yan? I only found out later that Pei Yan's mother was also surnamed Ling, a distant relative of Ling Yun's family. This was the villa of Pei Yan's uncle, which is why the Ling family plaque was at the gate. Can you blame me for that? Pei Yan seemed to recall that past event too, and his tone began to soften. Qinghuan, hurry up. Don't make a spectacle of yourself in front of outsiders. Whatever the matter is, come inside and we'll discuss it. No sooner had he finished speaking than the sky opened up with rain. Shen Qinghuan, why are you still standing there? Get in. I am not getting into your carriage. Pei Yan's expression turned ugly at once. Qinghuan, what is the meaning of this? Lord Ling will see me home, so there is no need to trouble yourself. Lord Ling will see you home. Shen Qinghuan, have you lost your mind from standing in the rain? Look at your own station, woman. Pei Yan didn't dare say another word. Let's go. Inside the carriage, I saw his lips pressed tight, his jawline pulled taut, clearly suppressing a great deal of anger. If you weren't planning on becoming someone's concubine, why did you get in my carriage? I wasn't. My lord, please let me explain. I racked my brain and began to talk nonsense. My father was a minor 7th rank official who happened to be a subordinate to Pei Yan's father. My attempts to get close to Pei Yan's were originally just to butter him up, who knew he would misinterpret my intentions. Of course, it is also my fault for not keeping my distance, which is what caused the misunderstanding. I was scared to death. Lord Ling, please don't be angry with me, all right? I truly know I was wrong. Please forgive me just this once, won't you? Since you know you haven't kept your distance, you should be more careful, sitting this close. If you were to cause me to misunderstand as well, it wouldn't be so easy to resolve. Go on, hit him with the truth. He is just bluffing. He is actually nervous as can be. Look at his right hand, he is nearly gripping the seat to pieces. He is terrified, you'll admit, that you were only close to him to advance your father's career. To deal with a man who says one thing but means another, you have to be direct. Host, be bold and charge ahead. It really is just as the system said. He had already fallen for when you spent time together before. If you weren't such a silly pig who kept mixing people up, jumping back and forth between the two of them, leaving him unsure of your true feelings, you could have completed the conquest mission long ago. I thought about it carefully. And it seems that really is the case, because I couldn't tell the two apart. In their eyes, I was always blowing hot and cold. Pei Yan is incredibly confident, convinced that I'm head over heels for him, but Ling Yun's thoughts are completely different. He worries he might have misinterpreted my intentions, that I don't actually like him, and that I only got close to him with ulterior motives. Over the past 3 years, I've had more chances to see Pei Yan, and we've been more intimate. I've rarely seen Ling Yun. He is a straight-laced man, and he deliberately kept his distance from me. Aside from a few ambiguous remarks I made, jokingly admiring his poise, or how dashing General Ling looks on horseback, there hasn't really been any progress between us. On the rare occasion that I stirred his heart, making him feel like I might be interested in him, the very next time he'd run into me on the street, seeing me getting all cozy with Pei Yan, he would immediately dismiss the idea. Ling Yun is of noble birth, always having whatever he desires, and possesses a tremendous amount of pride. He wouldn't stoop to taking what belongs to another. If I don't harbor feelings for him, he naturally won't reveal his own, lest he become a laughingstock. I was deep in thought, seeing that I hadn't spoken for a long while. Ling Yun took my silence as an admission. Miss Shen, let's just lay everything out in the open today. You are a straightforward person. You scramble to advance your father's career, and you go out of your way to curry favor with Pei Yan. But to those who don't know the truth, it looks as though you are deeply in love with him. Your father's rank is low, with so many superiors above you. Do you intend to cozy up to every single one of them? Although gender relations aren't as rigid as they were in the previous dynasty, this sort of reckless behavior is still unacceptable. You should be more careful in the future to avoid any further misunderstandings. From now on, when you see me, please keep your distance. Like today, sneaking into a carriage, there must not be a second time. Ah. Perhaps because we were so close. This time, I could clearly see Ling Yun's eyes. The corners of his eyes tilted upward slightly, far more handsome than Pei Yan's. Under my intense gaze, Ling Yun grew a bit nervous. He tried to push me away, but I immediately reached out to steady his shoulders. I wanted to say something seductive, but my mind went completely blank. It is so strange. When I'm with Pei Yan, I can spout nonsense with ease. As if reciting lines from a play, I can talk about anything at all. Even though a face this similar is right in front of me, the feeling in my heart is completely different this time. My heart is pounding wildly, like a nervous deer leaping about. My usually glib tongue is suddenly stuttering. I know that if I miss this opportunity, who knows when we'll meet again. And given Ling Yun's personality, he will only keep his distance from me hereafter, and there will never be another private space like this again. With others, it was just a misunderstanding, but with you it isn't. Ling Yun's body stiffened visibly for a moment. I could clearly feel the sudden acceleration of his heartbeat against his chest. I'm not just babbling nonsense. I'm not. Ling Yun, my feelings for Pei Yan are purely for gain, but for you, they aren't. I admit that I've been scheming to get close to you too, but not for my father's sake. It is for myself. What will it take for you to believe me? Then prove it to me. I froze for a second. Slowly, it dawned on me. I tilted my head and leaned toward Ling Yun. The system was right after all. Ling Yun really is a feisty one. I'm sorry I couldn't help myself. I'll have someone come to propose tomorrow. Scared. It is too late now. Ha ha ha. Ling Yun was even more impatient than I'd imagined. He said he'd propose tomorrow, but he sent a matchmaker over that very afternoon. I had originally thought that given his status, his marriage would surely be to the daughter of some well-matched noble family. Unexpectedly, the official matchmaker said that when Ling Yun performed meritorious service on the frontier at 17, the emperor offered him a reward, and he asked that he be allowed to decide his own marriage. The Marquis and Marchioness of Zhen were also very open-minded. Our family is already at the peak of prosperity. We don't need to climb any higher. As long as the child loves his partner, and they live a happy life, there's no need to worry about anything else. As soon as Ling Yun returned home and mentioned it, his family agreed immediately and sent the betrothal gifts. Counting the days. The date is the 18th, 2 months from now. In the second month, the exact same day as Pei Yan's. The schedule was so rushed that I certainly couldn't embroider my own wedding dress in time. According to custom, I at least had to embroider a gold-threaded veil myself. So I went to the largest silk shop in the capital to pick out threads. The shopkeeper was a sharp businessman. He had set aside several private rooms on the second floor, strictly for distinguished guests. One only had to sit in the room, drink tea, and eat some refreshments, and whatever silk or fabric one desired would be brought to the room by maids for selection. On the streets of the capital, if you threw a tile, you'd likely hit an official or two. And with my father's low-ranking position, originally, I wouldn't have been qualified to come upstairs, but because I am to marry Ling Yun, that is a different matter entirely. And so, the shopkeeper arranged for me to sit in the largest private room. As I was slowly sipping my tea, suddenly, I heard several gossiping voices coming from the next room. Brother P, why aren't you with your wife? You came alone. So it was Pei Yan and his scoundrel friends. One of them, named Zhou Jin, asked, "The style you chose, are you sure she'll like it? Zhu Yan's wedding dress is already prepared. I am here to pick out a gold-embroidered bridal veil for Qinghuan. Take these brocades away. Bring up some pink ones instead. Girls from such humble families have likely never seen the world. I was just listening to you brag earlier. You want Shen Qinghuan to sew your wife's wedding dress too. How come? You're even picking her veil for her. She is from such a small, undistinguished family. How many fine things could she have possibly seen? She probably wouldn't even be able to set foot on the third floor here. Marriage is a major life event after all. I'll select a few bolts of good fabric and gold and silver thread to send over to her, lest her wedding dress look unseemly on her wedding day, and people laugh at her brother Pei. You really know how to dote on someone. She's just a concubine. Who's going to go into the back courtyard to look at her wedding dress? A piece of common cloth is enough to show show her grace. Her father is a minor official at least. She is coming into my house to be a favored concubine. I'm not so petty as to deny her that much dignity. That is Shen Qinghuan. She is so beautiful. No wonder Brother Pei dotes on her so much. Stop it, you don't know. That girl has a very stubborn temper. I sent people to her home to pass on messages a few times recently, and she gave me absolutely no response. Ever since I parted ways with Ling Yun after taking his carriage that day, Pei Yan has sent people to find me several times. At first, he was harsh and stern, demanding that I apologize to Li Zhiyan. I was busy preparing my dowry. What time did I have to pay him any mind? I simply ordered my servants that from then on, anyone coming from the PA family was to be blocked at the door and forbidden from entering. After failing to get a response several times, Pei Yan began to panic a little. I have never stayed angry for so long. Pei Yan took a step back. He felt this wasn't such a big deal after all. If I really didn't want to embroider the wedding dress for Li Jian, then so be it. I am so devoted to him that not being able to be his legal wife is already heartbreaking enough. But to also have to embroider a wedding dress for Li Jian, it really does feel a bit like bullying me. Pei Yan thought guiltily, forget it. He would give in just a little this time. Besides, the wedding is almost here. Even if my temper is difficult, I can be handled properly once I am in the manner. Let's just focus on getting me married first. Ha ha ha. You can't coddle women, brother. Hey, are you really worried that Shen Qinghuan won't marry you? She would die for you. Forget about being a concubine. She would be happy even as a servant or a slave. You absolutely cannot go soft now, brother. That is true. You've all seen how she has treated me over the years. If she couldn't marry me, she'd probably be more miserable than dead. So you must not give in. She is only a concubine, and if you pamper her like this, she will get all high and mighty. She'll be fighting with your main wife all day, turning your inner courtyard into a complete nightmare. You'll be the one to suffer. The two men chatted. The art of managing wives is something Zhou Pu has quite a bit of insight into. He coached Pei Yan on how to balance wives and concubines. Pei Yan listened intently. You're right. Women really shouldn't be spoiled. At that moment, the maid arrived, carrying some carefully selected samples of silk. No need, let her pick them out herself. Exactly, why bother trying to please her? You're better off pleasing your main wife. Listen to me, a husband and wife are one. Put more effort into your main wife. Given her family background, the rewards you get back will be far greater. Go and bring the best fabrics from the shop over here. I'm afraid that is not possible today. The crown princess of the Ling family is in the private room next door. All the best fabrics have already been sent to her. Which crown prince Ling are you talking about? How many crown princes of Ling are there in this world? Ling Yun is actually getting married. Summoning as stoic and celibate as a monk. How did he suddenly have a change of heart? Who is he marrying? I don't know. I only know she is a young lady surnamed Shen. I have no idea about her family background. An image flashed before his eyes of that day in the downpour, when I snuck into Ling Yun's carriage and sat right beside him. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. How could Shen Qinghuan possibly climb her way into a duke's household? What is the matter? Brother P, why are you staring blankly? What is wrong with you? Ha ha ha. You think this crown princess surnamed Shen is Shen Qinghuan? Ha ha ha, Brother Pei. It's not that I want to lecture you, but you really are too, right? I suppose I overthought it. I was listening intently to the commotion in the next room. When the door was suddenly pushed open, I was startled. What are you two being so sneaky about? Have you chosen anything you like yet? Just about. I haven't seen you in a long time. Did you miss me? Who said General Ling was stoic and as celibate as a monk? He is clearly a ravenous wolf who has been famished for quite some time. Yet, we haven't even had our wedding night. Ling Yun has incredible willpower. Every time things get intense, he comes to his senses just in time. He never steps a single inch out of line. But I am the one who suffers for it. He leaves me feeling left hanging, half dead with desire. And at this moment, I am stiff as a porcelain doll, not daring to move a muscle, not even daring to breathe. There are people next door. The soundproofing here is terrible. The soundproofing is indeed poor. I heard every word Pei Yan and Jojin said. My conversation with Ling Yun, though whispered deliberately, as the walls here are quite thin. Whose voice is that? Could it be Shen Qinghuan? That is impossible. Kiss me. Qinghuan. What are you doing? Pei Yan. How dare you burst into my chambers like this? Forgive me, General Ling. Brother P, we must go. Shen Qinghuan, the lady they mentioned being the heir's consort, is that you? Are you going to marry Ling Yun? Yes, the wedding is set for the 18th of the 12th month, the same day as yours. Master P, I doubt you'll have the chance to attend the celebration. I don't believe it. Did he force you into this? Yuling fellow using force to abduct a woman. I shall take this matter to the Emperor. You must be tired of living. Aha. General Ling, this has nothing to do with me. I'm actually not that well acquainted with this man. Get out. Ush. Yes, sir. A. Qinghuan, come here. Master Pi, I have made myself very clear. Everything in the past was a misunderstanding. The person I have loved from beginning to end is Heir Ling. Impossible. It is impossible. News of my upcoming marriage to Ling Yun spread rapidly throughout the capital. In Ling Yun's words, it was to keep any stray cats or dogs who don't know their place from bothering me again. Given the Ling family's status in the capital, I assumed Pei Yan would lose heart and back down. I never expected him to go mad instead. First, he ran to the Li residence to break off his engagement with Li Jian. Once his family found out, it caused quite a scene. Then he ran to my house to propose marriage. My parents both thought Pei Yan had lost his mind. My daughter is the future duchess and you think you're worthy? Who do you think you are, Pei? Somebody throw him out. No matter how my servants humiliated him, Pei Yan stubbornly refused to leave. He came to my door every day, like clockwork, and stood there all day long. He said he just wanted to see me one last time. He wouldn't give up. Unless he heard it from my own lips. I had no choice but to let the servants bring him to the side courtyard. Pei Yan, haven't I made myself clear enough to you? You spent most of your own savings, saying as long as I was happy, you'd be willing to do anything, squandering a fortune just to buy a smile from me. And that time I fell into the lake, you risked your life to jump in and save me. Have you forgotten all of that? That blade wasn't for you. It was for Ling Yun. Watching Pei Yan manic and broken with despair, I had to tell the truth to end his delusions. Just think about it. You never practice martial arts. You only care about reciting poetry. Why would I give you something like that? I only sought you out because I mistook you for Ling Yun. I have face blindness, and you two look quite alike. After I explained that, Pei Yan was even more shattered. Impossible. Have you never loved me these past 3 years? How can you make up such a ridiculous excuse? Have you never taken it out to look at it closely? There's a character Ling carved at the base of the blade. Ha ha ha. Later, after Pei Yan returned home, he fell ill. He was bedridden for over half a month. Once he recovered, he seemed to regain some of his senses. His family pressured him to make peace with the Lai family. He was silent for a long time, then finally nodded in agreement. Unexpectedly, he was thrown out by the Lai family again. Do you think my daughter is a common cabbage? You can have her whenever you want. Get lost. Vice Minister Li detested his conduct. He desperately tried to trip up the Paki family in the government, with Ling Yun fanning the flames from behind. Soon enough, due to a minor mistake, the Pa family's noble title was stripped away. Pei Yan was utterly devastated. He requested to be posted elsewhere. The days he once thought himself extraordinary no longer held any light. He went to a remote area to serve as a magistrate. The day he left the city was the day of my wedding. Pei Yan's modest carriage passed by mine. Since then, mountains and rivers apart, I walked my path and he followed his own.